Hello, everybody. Tyrone Guy 3 here, and I want to give a quick shout out to Kenny, or aka Ninja Kennilo. He's the man who actually collabed with me today on this review, and he has a highly underrated YouTube channel that you guys should go check out. I will be putting a link in the description of this review because he actually did a really great job helping me do the review for this episode. And also he did a video with John and I talking about Pokemon Sun and Moon, the games, and our thoughts. So once you're done here and you have a project you want to work on and you need something to listen to, check out his channel. He does great work. So with that, enjoy the review. Today we'll be doing the review of episode 76. This episode is titled, Defeat These Terrifying Enemies, Krillin's Fighting Spirit Returns. And here with me I have a guest. Introduce yourself, sir.
My name is Kennilo, and I'm here with my friend Tyrone God 3 to bring you guys the new episode of Dragon Ball Super.
Yes, and we're here to talk about this episode. First off, just some quick thoughts on what you thought of this episode, then we'll go through the plot summary and then an overall thought. Quick thought for what you thought of the episode?
My quick thought of it is what I like about it is what they gave Krillin some good, some needed character development because he has not been used since the Cell games. And we all know Krillin is really, really strong, but it seemed like he had got settled into the family life. So by this bringing him back into the forefront to get ready for the Universal Survival Games, this is a good thing for him, and I really kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah, for me, I thought it was really good for Krillin. I was in my seat rooting for Krillin the whole time. I do have some big thoughts, but we'll say those for the overall thoughts, obviously. And then there's some criticisms, but I will save those for later. But essentially, I think that they did a good job with Krillin to the point where if you weren't interested in Krillin at first and all of Super, you will be now. Like, this was Krillin, definitely Krillin's time to shine. And I'm glad that Super's actually taking the time to do that to these characters. I mean, last week, I think 2 weeks ago was Gohan?
Yeah, it was Gohan because, they did he became Great Saiyaman again. And it was...
Yeah, the whole Great Saiyaman arc.
Yeah, it was
and I thought that was kind of cool, too, because it was happening around the same time as the Great Saiyaman stuff on Toonami, if you watch the dub of Dragon Ball Kai, the final chapters.
I haven't watched Kai yet.
Yeah.
I have not watched it yet.
Yeah, I would give it a watch. Like, if you've already seen Dragon Ball Z's version of the Great Saiyaman arc, which is longer, I would give it a shot just because they've gotten better. You can tell they're more comfortable dubbing each of their characters now. But we're not here to talk about Dragon Ball Kai. We're here to talk about Dragon Ball Super. So the plot. Yeah, so the plot, and we'll go through the quick plot summary. The plot basically begins where the last one left off. All of the villains are back. And when all of the villains are back, Goku has no problem fighting them off, but Krillin is having, flashbacks of dying from each of them. And, first of all, I apologize to any Nam victims. Then again, now that I stop to think about it, if you're coming back from Nam, which was years ago, I don't think Tyrone the Guy 3's videos are right up there in your demographic. You want to know what I'm down to see? Some Tyrone the Guy 3 goes down smooth with the prunes.
I bet you. I don't like prunes. Those things are awful.
It reminds me of when I was in Nam, man.
But you know what? But what was so funny, before we get into the episode, why in the hell did they have Baba in this episode?
Baba is... I guess, two reasons, and one of them is the big issue I'm having with Super as a whole, not just as this episode. Baba was there basically to guide them into the Forest of Illusions or whatever. I guess the Forest of Illusions, or not the Forest of Illusions, but and what's it called? The Forest of Fear?
I think it was the Forest of Fear. Yeah, it was.
The Forest of Fear. So I guess Baba's there to whip up some magical powers in there or something. But the biggest reason, and I know this has to be the reason, it's a callback. She's a goddamn callback. Because Super apparently can't live off its own material. It needs to do callbacks in order to survive.
Right.
And literally, Resurrection F is just a big callback to the Frieza saga.
And see, and that's why I skipped the anime version of it, because I have already seen the movie. So it's like God, Battle of the Gods and Resurrection F.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I feel like Battle of the Gods was at least like the only thing I think Super could call its own.
right.
Because once we move onwards, it feels like everything else is just sort of borrowed from other things. You can argue, oh, well, there's the Universe 6 saga, but the Universe 6 saga is literally just the Otherworld tournament, just longer and filled with some characters that we got brief descriptions of.
I was like, and see, the problem that I have was probably say that well, I'm gonna go ahead and say it because it's actually dealing with, Resurrection F and Battle of the Gods is all of the characters that are there really has not really gotten a lot of development, as I've heard you in your videos in the past, where Goku and Vegeta are the only two. And I'm kind of mixed on that, because I really am a Gohan fan as much as I am a Trunks and Goku fan, but Gohan is one of my favorites, and I'm like, why? And I've seen your videos where you go into detail about how Gohan is supposed to be a family man, not a fighter, and that is so true. But with him fighting, oh my God, it's just like, it's a dream just to see him fight. And I was hoping they would have did that for him in, the beginning, because, it would have gave, even though if he doesn't fight all the way, maybe it would just gave him a little, bit of, character development. Just
if you
fight.
put Gohan in the right circumstances, I'm sure he can be an unintentional fighter like he was in Dragon Ball Z, where he was just thrown in situations where he had no choice but to fight. So I'm not even ignoring that. It's just a lot of people just want Gohan to just start kicking ass again. And to be honest, the Universe 6 tournament didn't have any stakes, so there was no real reason for Gohan to be there. This one at least has more stakes to it. But moving on to the plot of this episode, once Krillin starts getting scared, it's clear that he just can't fight. Android 18 and Marin are there too now, and they're watching through Baba's crystal ball. And when they see this, they see that Krillin just can't fight. He's running away from all of them, and Goku and Krillin wind up getting separated because of this. So at this point, and there was a really important scene, I think they could have gone much deeper into this, but they didn't. Krillin basically is like, yo, I'm not having fun like you, Goku, I'm scared.
Yeah.
And he points this out, and I really wish this would have been a good time for Krillin to explain the depths of power gap between him and Goku.
Because, see, remember, he hasn't fought since the Cell games.
Yeah, right.
He was barely there during the Buu saga because of the fact we remember when Dabura spitted on him and he became a statue. So, so he really hasn't been in action since the Cell games. Now, what I actually liked about this part was he actually admitted for the very first time that he was actually scared. Now, that was a little character development, because Krillin never really gets a lot of character development since, Dragon Ball. He really got it during Dragon Ball because it was just him, Gohan.
Oh, well, I would argue to say the Cell Saga did a good job with him.
Yeah, I mean,
because,
really did.
like his whole quandary with Android 18.
Oh my gosh! And I got a bone to pick with her. She is so mean.
Well, I have a theory on that, but go ahead and exemplify on what you mean.
Okay, this is okay. Throughout, I'm not going to go back to Dragon Ball Z, but I'm just going to go.
We're just going to the realm of Super, yeah.
Right.
We'll stay in the Super.
The thing about her is since she's had Marin, it seemed like. Don't get me wrong, she supports Krillin, but it seems like the way she supports him is just so demeaning. Like, even Marin in the episode says, oh, he's weak, I want a strong daddy. And would you think that Android 18 would say, well, Marin, your father is strong, but he just haven't really fought in a while? No, she doesn't. She doesn't say anything. She just sits there and laughs.
Now, I have a theory about that, and I'm glad you actually explained that. I have a theory, and the theory is that Android 18, in her own way, is trying to give Krillin a kick in the butt to get stronger. I don't think she's intentionally being cold. Although this is Android 18's character, you have to remember.
Yeah, I remember.
Android 18 is like she's unintentionally a bitch. Like I think she is the definition of resting bitch face before resting bitch face was a thing. Like if resting bitch face, if resting bitch face had an embodiment, it would be Android 18. Yeah, so I think this is just the only way Android 18 can think to get Krillin back into gear. She's not Videl, she's not Chi-Chi, she's not Bulma. She can't just go, honey, you can do it. Like, that's not her thing. Android 18 is like, quit being a little bitch about it. Like, that's her, that's her character. And unfortunately, it's her character plus a child now. So her child's gonna be like, my daddy's a bitch.
I know. And see, when you mentioned Chi-Chi, I was like, well, basically, Chi-Chi has a light heart, but she's still just as bad as Android 18. And
well, no, I wouldn't say that, because, like, if a character is down, Chi-Chi will give him a kick in the butt. She'll be angry about it, but she's more explosive anger. Android 18 is just calm, collective, but cold at the exact same time.
Gotcha.
She has no emotion, but will tell you you're a piece of trash. You're like, okay, you suck. Like, it's not, yeah.
And see, don't get me wrong, I don't want nobody to really think that I hate Android 18. I really love her character.
But yeah, I like seeing it from face value. Seeing it from face value, I can see what you're saying. Like, from the audience perspective, especially if you haven't seen Z, she's being a little bit of a bitch.
Very much. Very much. And I mean, through the whole entire, because as they started, developing their relationship, you can see that throughout Z. You can see how through the Cell games not through the Cell games, but the Android Saga, how she was treating Krillin at that point. And it was like, as it goes on, we're not even going to get into we're not going to even go to GT because that's not.
Like I said, let's try to stay in the realm of Super.
Right. So, but like I said, with her character, it seemed like, oh my god, because see, as she was looking in Baba's crystal ball, you could see how. I mean, you could tell she was supporting him, but it was just like, you got to get your ass up and do something. You just got to do something.
It's clear that in all of the relationships, because it's usually a common comedic cliche in Dragon Ball that the female carries the pants in the relationship. I think the only relationship that's somewhat the most reasonable in terms of emotional is Gohan and Videl's.
Right.
Yeah, but like in most ones, like Bulma can get angry and shout at Vegeta, but Vegeta is also an alpha male too. At least in Dragon Ball Z, he was. So it's him just shouting back. So it's like, woman, bring me a washcloth. Like, and Bulma's like, get it yourself. Like, that's the type of relationship they've got.
And then love their relationship. And then
Goku and Chi-Chi's relationship is all like, Goku, I told you, and Goku's like, oh crap. Like, it's clear Chi-Chi has the pants in that one. This one is more of a it's not as loud, but it's clear 18 holds the pants.
Right.
And the relationship. She can just stare at Krillin and that's it. That's enough to get him down. And that's mostly because Krillin is a beta male. He's not an alpha male. So it's kind of, the shift of power is kind of weird. So I can see where that came from. But later in the episode, we see that a lot of the villains, and I was getting confused by this, a lot of the villains that were shown off were shown basically in their primary forms of their debuts, rather than, for example, we got Vegeta, but obviously he's not as strong as Vegeta. He's like Saiyan Saga Vegeta, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we got like Nappa and then Frieza, but like Namekian Frieza. And
now, I want to ask you a question. Was that Garlic Jr. in the mix? The guy with the
No, he wasn't. Okay. Akira Toriyama didn't make Garlic Jr. Toriyama just made all the others, so I didn't expect the Garlic Jr. to show up.
It just looked like him, and I was like, that can't be Garlic Jr.
And also, I think it's going off Goku and Krillin's past, and Goku didn't fight. Well, he did fight Garlic Jr. in Dead Zone, but like I said, not in the series. Yeah, in the series, it was Gohan, Krillin, and Piccolo. But moving on, Goku actually figures out what to do against these villains. He realizes the more ki he uses, the more they're going to manifest. So Goku turns to the normal state. But as a throwback, they made him turn Super Saiyan 3. Because fuck it, why not?
Now, I have a slight problem with that. And the reason why I have
I
a
have a
slight
whole
problem.
problem with that.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go
So,
first.
Kenny, you say we start small.
Okay, we'll start small. The little small problem I have with that is he went straight for Super Saiyan 3. Now, the reason why I have a problem with that, don't get me wrong, that transformation is off the chain. I really love Super Saiyan 3. But why just go straight off to 3 knowing that's the worst, transformation for you because it burns up a lot of ki? Why
Because
don't
it
you just
sells toys.
true and it sells games. It sells games.
Yeah, but and to answer that question, that goes into basically what my problem was. Why you're basically asking why did Goku choose to go Super Saiyan 3, knowing that its energy drainage is literally its worst aspect.
Right.
My theory, I guess Goku was just thinking, oh, if I am stronger, I can fight off against the stronger villain. The problem is, we've already shown off at this point that Goku's so strong. I bet, debatably, his base form is more than enough to take care of all of these villains.
Right.
I don't
And
even know why he went Super Saiyan, to be perfectly honest.
I don't either because he still, even though he can't go God Super Saiyan anymore, he still have God like Ki.
Yeah, he
So
still has the God Key, so he can
right.
turn. Yeah,
I mean that's why I had a problem with that because he still have God like Ki. He still is able to face freezing them like you said in his base form without even batting an eyelash. He could just thump one of them and they probably blow up.
especially Saiyan Saga Vegeta. Why? I think Raditz was there at some point.
Yes, Radish did show up.
Oh
I
my
who
god!
did he show up with?
It's just in that Raditz Nappa. It was a mixture. It's just it all boils down to my biggest gripe of this, and that's Dragon Ball Z callbacks. It's like, look, I'm as cool as Dragon Ball Z. I can be cool as Dragon Ball Z too. I'm fun, right? Right? I'm super. Love me. Like that's what. If
That's what
Super
it feels
doesn't,
like.
yeah, if Super doesn't shape up, that's what it basically is to me right now. It's like I will congratulate Super for at least staying within its lane, not like Dragon Ball GT where it turns
Oh my
Goku into a
god.
kid,
I
cuts
hated
Vegeta's
that.
hair, and fuck all else.
I hated
But
that.
yeah,
Oh my
but
god.
or like try to make the planet blow up in 1 year if the Black Star Dragon Balls aren't brought back, so it brings this looming death. But regardless, it, but my problem with Super is a whole different story. It's playing it safe too much. It's
Yeah, I
sucking
can
on
see
the
that.
teat of Dragon Ball Z, hoping that if it tries to venture off on its own, it's gonna suffer. And it's like, no, do your own thing.
And I can see where your point is going because if you think, because see, that's why after the Boo, because like you, I know Boo Saga was not your favorite. It really was not mine. It was like after that happened and Dragon Ball Super came, I was excited. But you know what? I really did not started watching until after Resurrection F saga. I ended up
Mm,
coming in probably late into the Future Trunks saga, Zamasu
yeah.
saga. And I actually Future Trunks is my favorite, and I watched your reviews on that, and you were absolutely right about bringing him back without a reason because we've already basically finished him off. You really didn't need him again, and like you said, Super is trying to bring back the nostalgia of all the fans who
Trunks was popular, so he's gonna bring in people.
Right, and that's basically what he did. Cause see, I had fell off, and I had started back watching Sailor Moon Crystal around that time. So
Mm,
as Dragon Ball Super, because I was watching it. Don't get me wrong, but he brought me back, and I've been watching it ever since after that, and it's like this episode has just solidified Krillin's standpoint back with me like he did in the Cell games. He may not be
right.
powerful. I mean, he's powerful, but he's not
By
on.
Earth standards, yeah.
Yeah, but he's not on Goku's level of powerful, and
Right.
that's the thing that I like is that he acknowledges at that point because as you see in the story, he actually figures out that because after Goku figured out how to beat them, he did the same thing. He was like,
Yeah, I was just gonna go into that. The minute Goku actually goes off to look for Krillin, and he can't fly because he'll be using Ki, which will manifest the
hmm
villain. So what he decides to do is bring in the callback cloud. I mean, the Nimbus. And
I have not seen the
I'm
combat
telling
cloud in
you.
God knows how long.
I'm telling you, it's sucking the tea of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. Like, get off of the tea. Be your
Man.
own series. It brought back the Nimbus just because fuck it. It's just, but the Nimbus
I
cloud is
feel your
back.
pain. I do
And,
feel
and
your
I will,
pain.
okay, and I will admit I missed the little cloud. I'm not gonna sit here and be a Scrooge about it. I do miss the Nimbus cloud, but Jesus,
But see, you
dude,
know
this
what?
is like what, the eighth callback?
But see, you know what? At this point, that was the only thing that he could do, to keep from using
Yeah,
teeth.
yeah,
So
that's
that,
true.
we
So at
have to kind
least
of
it's
like give it a
justifiable.
pass,
This
right?
cloud is more justifiable than the entire future Trunks arc.
And
All
that,
of it.
oh my God,
All of it.
that was so true because see, it. We'll have to do a separate video on
Well,
that
yeah,
because
that's another day. We
we
don't
got,
we
we
still
gotta,
wanna we still gotta finish this episode.
right. But oh my God, I have so much to talk to you about on that one.
But anyway, so after Krillin figures out, Krillin calms down. His ki is now centered. I wouldn't say he's reached God ki, obviously, because that's not gonna happen
Gonna
unless
happen. Mm-mm.
unless Whis decides to round up everybody 5 minutes before the tournament. But um, Krillin has reached I guess you can say a euphoric, like, I guess you could say an
It was
awoken mode. I
right.
would say like an awoken, yeah.
It's probably like what happened with him and Gohan when they went to Guru,
Yeah.
and he did potential unlock.
He he unlocked his potential. So I'd say this is because they actually draw him in a specific way now. Like the aura is glowing, or his ki is glowing
Hmm.
around his body, and his fists are like bursting with ki energy
Right.
as he takes them out. I want to say this is more of I guess we can say a reawoken formed Krillin.
And that's what I like about it because it's something different. Because because we already see God Vegeta and God Goku. Well, Super Saiyan
And
Blue.
then
We already
whatever
see
the
that.
fuck Trunks was.
Right. Oh my God. Oh my God.
So yeah, we've seen those forms in the Super Saiyan Rose,
Right.
but then now we've finally seen something that's a bit different. They don't have an official name for it. I'm sure they will think of something to call it if Krillin uses it again. But uh, I could
I
say, I guess we can call it reawoken Krillin.
I can think we can go with that for the moment because it seemed like that's what it really was. It would seem like his fighting spirit has finally returned, and it seemed like his powers after that just grew. It seemed like it
Yeah,
multiplied, and it was so refreshing to see that because we've seen everybody else get their time in the shine. We've ever seen everybody else get their time of shine except Krillin. Krillin is not always nowhere to be found when it's time to fight. And
right.
I was so happy to see that, and I'm sitting here looking at it. I was like, you know what? This was the best episode of Dragon Ball Super of this part I've seen before the tournament starts.
Right. So like well, after that, at that point, Goku gets caught up in Super Shenron. I don't know why he's here,
You,
but
oh God, you know what? I'm like, why in the hell is he even here?
we don't know. Just skip it.
Plot
It's for
point.
this.
I mean,
I
plot
was like,
hole.
yeah, yeah, it's
It's a
for this.
plot
No,
hole.
it's for this to happen. Krillin shows up and he's like, "Yo, Goku, can't you just burst out of there?" And he's like, "I can't. If I do, Nimbus will get blown away." And I'm like, "Nimbus can come
Come
back,
back. I know he
but
can regenerate himself.
it's a cloud." But anyway, it's a hey Krillin, we need your help, air quotes moment.
Well,
Krillin gets them out, and Goku and Krillin and the Nimbus are free.
and then they used the Kamehameha and
Yeah, and then
blow
all of
him
the
up.
then they come out, and Goku goes Super Saiyan Blue, Krillin goes into reawoken mode,
Mode.
and they blast Super Shenron, and they're done. They get all the herbs and they head back. Now this was important because this was the highlight of the episode right here. As they were flying back, and Goku chooses to fly on Nimbus still, I thought that was kind of cool.
Cool.
Yeah, Krillin states that he's gonna begin martial arts training again. He's going to be a martial artist again.
And I like that, and it's because like I said, through this was a Krillin character development episode. This is
Hmm.
where it's like, okay, I've been out of the fight too long. My daughter told me I suck. My wife is being a bitch. So why not just come on? This is my chance to show them that I'm strong. I've been this way, long before I met you guys, long before, Miriam was born. So now let me get back to the prime that I used to be in. Let me show you guys I can do it. And that's what I liked about that. That was a very, very good episode. I mean, that was a
Yeah.
very good little scene right there from Krillin.
So yeah, and then they bring back the herbs. The herbs don't do anything except Master Roshi eats them, and apparently he can live longer now.
I think they said 1,000 more years.
Which is weird. I thought, like, okay, they stated that Master Roshi drank the immortal elixir,
Right.
which means that unless he gets, like, destroyed, he can live forever.
Ever, basically. And that's what.
But I guess that, like, I guess the herb is so that his body doesn't waste away.
That might be true because even though if he's still, I guess it's like even though he's immortal, his body may still kind of, get old.
Yeah.
So
I guess the better word would be eternal.
Eternal, right.
Because immortal implies he can't die if you try to kill him. That's what Zamasu was. Master Roshi is like eternal. Like years after the Z Warriors are dead, he can still be alive. Yeah, unless something kills him.
And that's what I was thinking. So that's the thing is like the herbs probably preserves his body. Yeah. So because like you say he's eternal, so there's no way for him to die unless someone really
because in Dragon Ball he actually gets killed by King Piccolo.
Oh, King Piccolo! What those days? I miss those days.
Yeah. So after that, basically after that point, the final cherry on the Krillin development sundae is Android 18 cuts his hair. So Bald Krillin is back.
Back, and I like that. And
which is kind of weird because in the manga he never left.
Well, that's true because I haven't read the manga, so I'm more the anime looker. I haven't really read the manga yet.
I'm in it now. I just know like in the manga they have little snippets and Krillin still is bald.
Maybe because see, I think what they're trying to do is keep it different. Show like the different steps of Krillin going through the anime, and where in the manga he still will be the same. He probably is already he probably doesn't have to go through the character development that he has to in the anime. So that's probably why they
in reality, Toei Taru, I think that's his name. I'm sorry if I botched it. But I think it's mostly because like Krillin's hair, to draw it means that you would have to ink it all up, and it would take too long. So it's easier to just make him bald.
Bald. Mm-hmm. And I like the bald Krillin. I really like the bald
Krillin.
Yeah,
it's obviously, because it's Krillin. It's Krillin. So... Right. At that point, Goku just asked him, "Hey, do you want to spar?" And Krillin's like, "Yo, no going Super Saiyan." And then
I thought that was funny. I really thought that was funny.
And then the episode basically ends. So, what did you think overall, just of this episode as a whole?
I really, like I said, I really did enjoy this episode because it was a Krillin focused episode, and it gave him much needed character development since the Cell games. So my overall, I really enjoyed it. It's something I could watch again.
I won't even say any like critiques anymore. I'm gonna say I have suggested improvements that could have been done in this episode. Yeah. For example, when Krillin was calming down and his power was rising and he like got a grip of himself, I wish they had showed moments, because they had no problem showing moments of him getting wasted.
Right.
Almost. Yeah, they showed all of them.
They showed every last one.
Well, not every last one of them, but they showed the bulk of them. Like the ones where like Frieza blew them up. The ones where King Piccolo's henchman Tambourine killed him. And so they showed the big ones.
Yeah, the most.
But I wish when he was getting a grip, I wish they had shown moments of him actually doing legitimately well in battle. Like, for example, when he charged at Nappa and did that surprise attack, or when he did the Destructo Disc and cut off Frieza's tail.
Yeah, that was a milestone for him. That was a huge milestone.
Or even, and I know this one's a stretch, it's mostly a filler moment, but that moment when Krillin like headbutted Imperfect Cell. Like they can show moments of highlights of Krillin to show that he's coming back. Because they weren't all bad. Krillin, for Earthling, he's actually gone pretty far. That's the only reason that he's gotten wasted so many times is because he's on basically Earth's expectations.
Right. And see, and that's the thing is like the whole. Now, I agree with you on all of that because it is the fact that if he's doing good, why not show him doing the good stuff to invite, to show more, him more embodying the power to do better instead of just showing him when he's doing bad, when he's getting
Right.
killed, and that kind of makes him feel like less than a person and is like, okay, how can I protect my family when all this happened to me? I'm scared.
Because
So
then it gives people more of a, if they shown those moments of Krillin actually coming up on top, it would actually justify more respect for those who haven't watched Super, because who haven't watched Z, because if you haven't watched Z, then for like I said, for an Earthling that doesn't get any Zenkai boost like the Saiyans do,
Saiyans do. Oh
or like
yeah.
Namekians, where they're just gifted with Namekian strength, or all these other aliens, androids, and others. Krillin is on a level that's mostly just he's human. Like the
That is
fact that he's
basically
able
it.
to do all of this in the first place is very, very formidable. Even as a child, he was running at damn near athletic speed. So
I
he
I mean
Krillin was always good. Just the game has gotten more difficult.
right, because see, if you would think him and Goku, when the Master Roshi, when they was training under him to learn the Kamehameha, you see how strong Krillin was as a child because they were pulling wagons of, over 1,000 pounds of fruit. I
Yeah,
was like, oh my god, I couldn't even lift 3 pounds. Well, yes, I
right.
can. I can.
Pushing giant boulders and stuff. Like
Right,
they were able to do the impossible even at age like
age
12.
12.
So they
So
like this isn't that far off. But other than that, this episode to me just my my biggest problem I have, and I understand why they did it. Callbacks, so many callbacks.
callbacks.
It feels like Super just can't walk on its own 2 feet, and I get it. They wanted to take a character from way back then and bring him up to speed,
Right, and that's what I was about
and
to
there's
say.
other ways to do that though.
See, that's what I was.
Like like a couple of episodes ago with Gray Sandman, and I'll let you finish after
Go
this.
ahead,
A
go ahead.
couple episodes after, a couple of weeks ago, Gray Sandman was able to handle things on his own. We barely saw Goku. I think we only saw Goku briefly in both of those. So there's other ways to do it. Now this was specifically for Goku and Krillin needs to train again purposes. But there's still ways you can make that work without reducing Krillin to a bunch of flashbacks. Like I feel like there's something else that could have been done. Goku could have been preoccupied with something. Like there's so many different routes, and it's hard for me to look at Super without looking at Dragon Ball Z and going, Z did it first.
See, okay, this is what I was about to say is that what I think they were trying to do is because see they know if Goku was not with Krillin and if they did like a Krillin focused episode without anybody trying to help him go to get back up to speed, it probably would not have happened because
That's true.
think about it, Goku is a driving force. I mean, look how he did Gohan. Well, he basically groomed Gohan to fight. So it's like if
Piccolo groomed Gohan to fight.
true, yeah, I have to take that back. You are
Goku
right.
helped. Yeah,
He
Goku
helped.
helped.
Yeah, he helped. I forgot about the whole saga. I mean, I didn't forget. It was just that I was thinking about this when they was in the room of spirit and time. When they
Yeah.
was, that's where I was meant when he groomed him to fight at that point. So to go back to what I was saying was, if Goku wasn't with Krillin, he probably would have never have gotten to the point that he was. So, and then all the callbacks probably helped a little bit. And I do know you're great with that because I was the same way. But if you think about it this way, Krillin had to think about everything that happened in the past. So, in order for him to move on, maybe calling back to the times that Frieza killed him, he died by King Piccolo, and he was turned into stone by Deborah. Maybe those within him, at that point, didn't give him the strength that he needed, but it helped mold him
Yeah.
at the end to get him back to the point where he needed to be, and use that energy to extend over where the level that he was at into awoken Krillin.
And I mean, you can show that. You can still show that without him having to fight the exact same villains over again. I
True,
mean, it's not impossible.
which is true.
Yeah, like I mean, I remember Gohan was doing his in Dragon Ball Z. Gohan was training with Goku to turn Super Saiyan, and he was like, "I've been letting people down my whole life." And it shows Piccolo getting hit by Nappa and his blast where Piccolo dies, and then it shows like all the other situations where the Z Warriors couldn't fight off something
right.
until Goku did it. So yeah, Gohan had those flashbacks, and they weren't fighting the exact same damn villains. It was just Goku. It was just Gohan versus Goku.
Well, to take words
So
from
it's proof that it can happen. It's just that I guess there was no real other way they can do that unless they did it like that. And it's a fast way. And I can understand they're probably just doing this episode to keep us busy.
Right.
Hopefully to do some real deal writing for the survival arc.
I'm gonna take words from your mouth, my friend. Super's just being lazy. That's it.
Or they could be just being lazy. Yeah, like
they're just being lazy.
Maybe we're thinking too far into this, but it's just that's my one gripe. My one gripe is that I get it; it's nostalgia incarnate.
Mm-hmm.
Goku and Krillin training again is nostalgia incarnate.
Right.
But like, there's other ways to make nostalgia happen without plummeting us with callbacks.
Because and I'm going
because all that does is make me just want to watch Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
Because see, what I was about to say, I'm gonna go back to the bitch factor, which is Android 18. We could have, and this could have been something she could have trained him, because remember, Android power levels are not are undetectable. You can't really know what Android power level really is, and she could get stronger just not by doing anything because she's an android. So she could have taken Krillin, and these two could have went on a train together, and she probably could have got him to another level.
Yeah, that could have been like a nice husband and wife moment too.
Right. So that would have gave her some more character. Well, she needs no more character development.
I know, she can always get better, because I always thought, outside of most things, because Toriyama isn't that great at relationships, at couples. He's not.
Yeah,
but he's even stated it. He's not.
Yeah.
But I think that Krillin in 18 training would have been a nice, like, it would have filled in a little bit of a shell that is their relationship, because outside of making Marin, we don't really know much. Of Krillin and 18.
Yeah, because we really don't see them doing anything at all together, except
I think the only thing we could. The first thing I can remember when I see Krillin and 18 together is when she forces Krillin to go to the World Martial Arts Tournament because of the prize money.
Oh my gosh, she was just.
And that was way back in Z. Yeah, that was way back in Z.
That was way back in Z.
So I don't know. It's just. Obviously, like, that was my only gripe for real. But other than that, I do love the fact that they are even taking the time to focus on Krillin. Now, if only they could just do that with the other characters.
Right.
I mean, hell, Piccolo hasn't gotten any real development, even in the saga that he got to fight in.
Oh my goodness, I heard about that, and I'm a Piccolo fan as well. I really do love Piccolo, and for him not to get any development, and he trains every single day.
Yeah.
For him not to get any, character development and not even get any stronger, it's just beyond me. I don't understand that.
I mean, like, debatably he could be getting stronger. We just don't know by how much, because Super doesn't have any, like, scaling.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, I've seen some of the Universe 6 tournament, and he did, he stood his ground, but but like you said, he did not win, and that could have been character development for him. So even
if he lost, that wasn't the big issue. The big issue was that Piccolo was sort of pushed aside so we could have Vegeta time.
Oh God.
But before we get too much off of tangent, go ahead and finish what you were going to say, and then we'll end it off there, because at this point we're going
I know
we're
we're
going
going
into
back to
yeah
we're
we're
going
going
back to
into
nostalgia.
we're going to further realms,
I
and
know.
then we're going into problems not just with the episode, but of Super now. So
Right. But the only thing that I want to say is I'm hoping that we get to see a little bit more development of Krillin and 18 as the coming days of the survival tournament when they get ready to start that. So to see
yeah,
them train, hopefully they get more development on that. But that's about it, my friend. I have to say.
yeah, that's the same hopes I have too, and that was why when I saw Krillin on the promotional art, I was like, I'm perfectly fine with that. You can't really have a universal team without Krillin. They did it the one time, but that was only because it had less people. But
Right.
now it's like I can definitely see it now because obviously Krillin would be have some nice interactions with the other characters, and if they make an episode that's developing him, which they did, then that will be perfect for him. So yeah, I'm completely down with it. But with that said, the next episode is actually the start of the Universal Survival Tournament. It's episode 77. Let's do it, Zeno. The Universe Greatest Martial Arts Tournament. So, with that said, thank you, Kenny, for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me.
And I will see you all then on the next episode. Tyrone the God, 3, out.